Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Sasquatch Watch Radio with your hosts, Billy Willard and the Blog Squatcher. Strap in, hold on tight, get ready, because it is about to go down.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Today is Monday, January 5th, 2009. Welcome to the new year, everyone. Let's hope it's a good one for everybody. My name is Billy Willard, and we've got our great co-host and wonderful admirer of all, Mr. D.B. Donlin.
I am here. I might be having some trouble. The new people who are just joining us probably have already seen that Blog Talk Radio has changed some things around. And you warned me just before we went on air that it might reset the chat room and everything, and it did. And boy, is this going to make everything a little bit fun later on, isn't it?
Yeah. I apologize. They really didn't give us any warning. I know that they had been talking about changing things up a little bit, but I didn't know it was going to be quite this major. So, I guess we have to deal with it.
Yeah. If you hear the sound of our show going in the background, it's because I can't stop it on my other computer, but I've turned it down. But that's just, now I should be able to stop that.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
I don't know what's going on, but we'll just have to work through with it, I guess. Well, welcome, everybody. We're glad that everybody was able to join us. If you're having problems, like I said, some of the problems that we've noticed right off the bat is the chat room seems to keep refreshing itself. Again, they've changed the format, so they're working out the bugs. Again, same thing as always. So we apologize for that, folks, but just bear with them, and they're supposed to be working on the issues and everything. But anyway, tonight we're going to have a show where we're bringing in some of the members of the newly formed ABS, the American Bigfoot Society. So we're going to have some folks with us on the line here shortly. But we typically like to start off with a little bit of news. And DB, I didn't know if you had any news for us tonight.
Well, I haven't run across anything in the recent things that get sent to me that I thought would be worth any of our time here. But I do know that not very far away from you, you've got things going on in a place called Catharpin.
Yeah, that is correct. Just a little bit of an update on a research site that we have recently acquired. It's called Catharpin, Virginia. It's not very far from me, actually, surprisingly enough. We've got a fellow that we will call Bob, who has been a witness now of two separate sightings that he's had on his property in Catharpin. The most recent being last Monday, right before my last Monday show, which we didn't discuss it because it was still fresh and I wasn't really ready to talk about some of the things that we had done out there. But anyway, the gentleman had another sighting. He saw a creature but behind a tree that was in his yard. The tree's about 75 to 80 feet away, next to some hedges, kind of in a little flower garden. And the gentleman seen a creature kind of swaying back and forth, looking at him from behind a tree as he had arrived home at about 5:40 p.m. Now, here in Virginia, about 5:40 p.m., it's pretty dusk. It's almost dark completely. And he saw the thing behind the tree kind of looking back and forth. It was only 10 feet away from his original sighting that he had had about a month or so prior. You know, we've looked around the area to see what this creature might be interested in. His neighbor does have keep his trash behind the house, which is really close to that location. The gentleman also has young children that play around near the wood line. So we're not exactly sure what the creature's interested in there, but apparently it keeps returning for some odd reason. We don't think he's having a misidentification based on some of his information. So we have set out some trail cameras. We have been collecting images from the trail cameras. We're currently looking at 2 images. Last week we had obtained 36 exposures. 2 of those exposures have some interest, and we're working on those right now, and as soon as I find out what we've actually got in them, obviously I'll be sending those out, and, you know, of course we'll update people here on the radio show as well, so you may want to keep tuned into that, and I'll keep giving everybody an update on what's going on with that site. And that's really about all I have, DB.
Well, that's all good information, and I'm sure that the listeners were glad to hear it. And you got to get me out there on that, man. I'm gonna check this out. If there's actually,
yeah, well, I've already talked to the witness. He has no problem. We've already requested, asked him if we could bring some more members of our group out to do some nighttime surveillance and stuff out there. He's agreed that that's fine. You know, members of our group, he said, are welcome. So we're all set. All we got to do is schedule it, DB.
And then we can tell everybody afterwards. Hey, has he had vocalizations there? You know, that'd be the thing I would be most interested in.
He had some type of vocalization. He didn't record it. I've instructed him to get a recorder, you know, if he starts to hear things, and just set it out on his back deck. But he did have a vocalization about 2 weeks ago when he had also just come home. And the way he described, now this guy, just so y'all know, I'm going to have him on the show in 2 weeks. He's agreed to come on the radio show in 2 weeks and talk about, you know, what he's seen and that kind of thing. But he described it to me, and this guy's been hunting his whole life. He's one of those avid hunters, and he's always been in the woods, so he knows his wildlife, he knows his animal sounds. Well, he had heard a strange sound a couple weeks ago when he had come home, and the way he described it to me is it started out as a low gruntual type noise, and then ended with a whoop.
Mm-hmm.
So he was uncertain of what that was. He said he hadn't heard. He's even listened to some of the stuff on the internet, and he said he hasn't found anything that really sounds like it yet. So that may be something interesting. Hopefully we'll get something if we go out there and do some audio recording. We can only hope.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's see here. Let's go ahead and get on with this. We have, I don't know who all we got on here. I know that of a few people that we have. So we're going to introduce some members of the American Bigfoot Society. For people who are unaware of the American Bigfoot Society, it did exist back sometime, and then it was we had closed it down temporarily, and now it's been reorganized. And we've got the president of the American Bigfoot Society on the line with us, I know for sure, Mrs. Melissa Hovey.
Hi, guys.
Soon to be Mrs. Melissa Hovey.
What?
Actually,
well, really?
Actually, it'll be something else, but unless she might want to use that hyphen or something. You know, women like that fancy hyphen.
No, actually, I think we've agreed that he'll take my name because it'll be easier.
Yeah. Did you really agree to that? You better put him on the phone to confirm.
No, he didn't agree to that. He, in fact, curled up his nose and looked at me as if I had lost my mind. So.
You still need some negotiation, I think.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to.
Welcome
I'm
to the
happy
show.
to be. Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here, guys.
So since we got you on the line, and before I start bringing some other folks on, tell us a little bit about why the ABS was brought back and what the plans and goals that you see. Everybody may have a little bit of a different outlook of certain things, but we want to know what your outlook is.
Well, you're right. I think that everybody that's been brought in as a member of the board of directors does have a little bit of a different vision for the organization, which actually is why, I tried to tap the very people who do sit on the board of directors. I've only been involved in this for a very short period of time, but one thing that I noticed right off the bat was a division within this field of research. People talk often about the scientific community, getting them to help us out, and researchers working amongst each other and talking about things and getting the work done. But oftentimes you don't see that happening. There have been different organizations that were formed that were supposed to do those things but never did. They basically turned into websites to talk about the fact that nobody's getting the job done. And, I joined one of those organizations. I was a member of the TBRC, which is actually a very fine field organization. And they've got it going on down there in the South. But by and large, there's really no communication between the various organizations and independent researchers. And I really thought that, personally, if we could get some of these people together and talk about our differences of opinion and discuss different ideas and form a network of researchers, whether they be in groups or independents, and try to form some information sharing, some communication, then maybe we might get something accomplished and we won't have 40 years of nothing much. I mean, I'm just as impressed as most people with, sighting reports and, footprints and casting and yada, yada, yada. But we want something on camera. We want some proof to take to the scientific community. That's how we're going to solve this. Talk is cheap. So I put together a group. I reformed the ABS along with a very good friend of mine, Sean Forker, and, of course, you helped out immensely, Billy. And hopefully we'll get that job done. If nothing else, hopefully we'll set the standard for communication within this field of research. I know it can be done. So,
yeah,
so far we seem to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, it can be done, and that is. It's very important that we keep that line of communication open. I've said that the whole time, that one of the problems with this research is not networking and working together as a group. And, I mean, there's so much conflict out in the Bigfoot world that it's crazy.
Right. And a lot of times you hear from various researchers, well, it's because nobody trusts anybody and everybody wants to have the first. Everybody wants to be first to discover the animal and yada, yada, yada. And honestly, I think that's a lot of lip service. I think that it's a lot of, just people not wanting to get along with other people, trying to find reasons to hate each other, to, keep people from doing what they want to do. And, while you and I, Billy, we're the best of friends. We don't agree on everything. But at the same point, I respect the fact that you are in the field as often as possible. That's what gets my respect. Those that spend hours on the Internet researching and getting as much information as they possibly can, that gets my respect. Talking about what somebody didn't do on an Internet message board that they could have done doesn't help us at all. Sure, it gives us ideas on what direction to go, but at the same point, add some constructive criticism. That's what this group, and hopefully people that we bring into it, that's what this is going to be about, constructive criticism to move us forward, not keep us holding the study pattern that we've been in for quite some time. So that's my hope.
I agree. And now we'll get, I believe we got Mr. Sean Forker on the line as well. Sean Forker, how about you tell us a little bit about what you see for the ABS as far as the direction and goals?
Well, Mel put it pretty good, Billy. I don't know if I could follow up on that. The American Bigfoot Society and all its various forms has always been one to the free share of information. But it's always been a complicated mission. As Melissa said, groups don't talk together too much. They don't share the information. Everybody's too protective that they may have the holy grail of Bigfoot research. And the fact of the matter is, 40 years later, we have some, footprints, we have some video, but nothing concrete enough to really take to the scientific community and say, hey, folks, we've got something to show you. It's time that we talk together and work together and bring these, collect this evidence. And I think sometimes you're going to have to work with people that, might not seem to have all their, eggs in a basket. I think, we have to be careful. Someone in the room put, Melissa, maybe you can answer this quick before my eyeballs pop out. Will we work with habituators? And my response was, I think we would if there's, strong enough suggestion or proof that there's actually a habituation going on.
Absolutely. I mean, all I've asked for from day one, and I've gotten a lot of criticism in respect to this question, habituators. Show me proof that you have a Bigfoot on your property, and I will put everything I possibly can as far as resources and manpower on your property to prove that is actually what's happening, that you have actually caused this to happen. That is what we're looking for. All I'm looking for is the person that can prove this to me. Show me, and I will put my support behind you 110%. That's all I'm asking for. I think the ABS as a whole would feel the same way.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if we have something that we can be shown is they really have something going on out there, because it may be a long drive for some of us. I mean, it'd be different if it was like right around the corner, but when we invest a lot of our time, energy, and of course it costs us money, because I don't know about you all, but I'm not getting any funds from anywhere.
Right.
To go out and do this stuff. So let me see who else we got on the line. I'm sure these are probably board members, but maybe not. Who do we have at the 262 area code?
This is Toby, Squatching.
Hey, Toby.
How's it going, guys?
Going good.
What's up?
So tell us what you see. What do you see, or what would you want to see the direction of the ABS go in?
Well, I'm just in correlation with what Sean and Melissa have already said. I'm on board with that goal. When Melissa invited me to be on the board of directors, she spoke to her vision, and that's something that I've talked about with some of my friends in the field regarding what we see for the future, and I think it's a major plus the direction the ABS is going to travel in. So I would, just to talk upon what's already been said, the communication in the community really needs to take another step, and I'm on board to make sure that happens, and hopefully we can accomplish that goal. Yeah,
and I tell you what, Toby, I don't know if you know it or not, but I've actually been looking at some of your material that you've put up on YouTube, some of your research videos, and I just wanted to say good job.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate that.
I'm impressed with the work that you're doing, and I think you're a great addition to an organization like the ABS. I really do.
Oh, much appreciation. Thank you. Yeah, I've only been doing this for a short time as well, maybe, a year and a half or so, and so on a foundational level, as far as the ABS is concerned, I'm a new guy, and I think, I can speak to some of the new members who join, and tell them and maybe show them some guidance and how to, step up their research a little bit and maybe some new things. And I'm there to learn as well.
Right.
I want to learn from the more seasoned veterans that are in the group too. So.
Right, and I think that's important. Not one of us know everything there is to know about this research, and I think that's the important thing of having a group that's willing to work with one another, because we all learn something new from each other. I mean, you probably know of something that I haven't tried here in Virginia, just like I may have tried something here in Virginia that you've never tried, in your area. And that's one of the biggest important things, I think, in this research, is that we each learn something new. You may have something that you feel is working for you that I've never tried. Vice versa. It could be the same thing for Melissa over in Ohio. So I think that's the greatest part of this. Now, DB wants to mention about the wild parties.
Yeah, finally, someone's going to break with the parties. That's the only reason I joined the ABS was for the wild parties. And I got to say, so far, I'm a little disappointed in the quality of the wild parties.
Well, I did promise Bigfoot and boobies.
That's right.
Well, that's what the young, inexperienced people are for. They're for the parties. Us older people, we don't know how to do that anymore.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm probably the oldest person on the line right now, so that argument doesn't really work. The old and debauched still want to party.
Oh man.
Yeah, somebody in
All
chat
right,
just said, boobies? Did you just say boobies? Well, I'm afraid we did.
Oh gosh, she done set JC off.
Uh-oh. Why is it always me?
You know, what can we say? DB, I keep forgetting. Do you have any questions or anything from the room?
Well, I haven't noticed any questions that were serious, except for the one that Sean already touched on. Like, would you really do the habituation thing? And you guys have covered that pretty well.
Okay, all right. So let's see who else we got on here. We have someone from. Let's see who we got here. I think I'm supposed to leave that one mute. I know who that is. Who do we have at the 936 area code?
You know who this is.
That's Smiter.
That's always me.
How are you doing?
Oh, if I was doing any better, I couldn't stand myself.
Oh, my God. That good, huh?
Always.
So do you have a question?
Yeah, I had asked the question about working with habituators, and the thing I'm trying to get across with that is a lot of time habituators don't want to share the information or knowledge they have because they don't want to betray the trust they've been able to establish with these hairy folks. And even if you don't look at them as another kind of people and you just look at them as a basic animal, you still have a trust relationship that you've developed, and you're betraying that trust.
Right.
And they will vacate the area. I mean, they simply will not stick around.
Now, I do want to ask you a question, Smiter, and when I ask this question, I don't mean it to sound negative.
Okay.
But you had mentioned, why won't groups work with habituators, but yet you're saying if we work with habituators, you'll lose the trust of the clan.
Well, it depends on how you work with the habituators. If you want to go in and set up game cameras and put out pheromone chips and things like that, that's an invasive approach, then naturally the habituators aren't going to want to work with you, and the hairy folks aren't going to stick around. I've said this before on different shows, and there's a real basic premise to all this for me and how I approached it. I put myself out there in the woods with no cameras and nothing else for the first 2 months that I was doing this and let them get used to me, and it was their decision as to whether or not I had any type of interaction whatsoever. And when I started having sticks and rocks thrown in my direction, I knew that they were starting to accept me. And that's when I started leaving a recorder in the woods and I started getting recordings. That's when I started taking pictures of footprints that I found. It wasn't where I went out to an area and cast footprints or made a campsite and was only there for 2 or 3 days, call blasting and throwing out pheromone chips.
Gotcha. Well, does anyone have a response to Smiter? Anybody?
Well,
I thought. Please go ahead.
Oh. Okay. This is the same thing I hear over and over and over again. Habituators such as Smiter here, they want to prove. They say that they want to prove what they have going on. And maybe he does. I have absolutely no idea. But the only way that we can prove what's happening to these people who claim habituation, and they may have a legitimate case of habituation, the only way we can prove that is to actually get recordings, vocalizations, photographs, samples of some kind, and get those off to science. I'm in this for documentation. I'm not personally in this so that I can, head off to somebody's property and then be told, you can't see anything, you can't do anything.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying on that. And that kind of thing is possible if you're willing to spend the time working with someone. Diane Fossey did not walk into the jungle and start interacting with gorillas in 3 days.
All right, that's fine, Snyder, and that I understand, and I completely agree with that way of thinking. It will take time, and that I completely understand. But then the question becomes, why won't the habituators let researchers, such as myself, onto their property to actually make that happen? That's not happening, not even with the habituators themselves. They're not even able to get pictures, clear photographic evidence of this animal. So then we're stuck. We're stuck in a catch-22 situation. How do we make this happen so that you don't sound crazy and so that I'm not totally, I'm always screaming at you, where's the proof? There's got to be a happy medium in there somewhere.
Well, there are other habituators that I speak with because I've been pulled into that group, so to speak, and I have seen their photographs, and I swore to secrecy, and I'm sure you've heard that before, but there are clear photographs out there that people have to where you can see the facial features, you can see the pupil of the eye, the color of the eye. You can even see that they have different colored lips. Some of the ones I've seen have gray skin, black hair, and pink lips. And if you look in the mirror, I'm sure that you'll notice that your lips are a different color from the rest of your skin. So that only makes sense.
Okay, well, you know what, Snyder, I completely understand where you're coming from, and I understand where these people are coming from. They're wary. They're afraid to come forward for fear they're going to be laughed at. And believe me when I tell you, I'm not in this to laugh at people. I know I come across as hard-nosed, and I'm very tough, but that's for a reason. Well, but at the same point, if these people are willing to come forward and share with me and our organization what they have, what you have, we will look at that stuff critically. We will take a look at it seriously, and we will not laugh at you in public.
Well,
but you have to come forward with everything.
Did you happen to catch the Campfire Shadow Show with Old Crow on it, where she played some of her recordings? It's not the people coming out there and trying to take photographs of them. It's not even the media circus that we're really worried about. She played a recording where for 15 minutes there were rifle shots occurring 150 yards from her house for 15 minutes. There must have been 50 or 60 rounds fired because there were people out there hunting the hairy people in the woods, and that's one of the things that habituators fear the most is crackpots with rifles coming around trying to shoot them, and a stray bullet comes through your house and hits one of your family members. Well, what are you going to do then?
Okay, well, you know, you're discussing something right now that I think is paramount to everybody that's involved, and I know at least the ABS, every single person that I know. You're talking about something now that is foremost in our thoughts, and that is the protection of this animal. If you have areas that you know absolutely without a doubt have activity going on, by all means, do whatever is necessary to get the animal documented in those areas for certain and get that animal protected. We can't stop that sort of thing. We can't put a stop to it until the animal is proven to exist and is documented. Then we can get laws to protect it.
I wanted to correct you on one point from your earlier statement about myself, and I've said this several times on different shows. I didn't approach this with the idea of trying to prove them to the world. To me, that proof already exists and has for a very long time. I went in it to see what I could learn for myself and what they could teach me. And I didn't approach them as an animal. I approached them as a primate and allowed them to show me their intelligence and what they could do, let them get acclimated to me. And that's the approach I took, and that's why I'm sharing information about what I know to help other researchers. If you go out there with the premise that they're an animal, then you're going to get that kind of response. If you go out there with the premise that they're a primate and have some kind of intelligence, at least that of a gorilla, chimp, or bonobo with a 5 to 7-year-old human intelligence level, and recognize that, you're going to make more progress in your studies when you go out there. And that's just a simple fact. And you can ask anybody from, I'm sure Ron Shafter would probably agree with that. Stan Courtney certainly would. Other people that are probably controversial in this field of study. But if you go out there thinking that they're just a dumb animal, you're not going to get anywhere.
Well, I know I've never said that they were just simply a dumb animal. I mean, I don't believe that at all. I mean, if this animal's been able to go undetected for how many, years, I mean, obviously it's not a dumb animal. There is some level of intelligence there. In fact, I don't think there's any truly stupid animal out there. Somehow they manage to survive, regardless of what species they are. But, I mean, this I think is probably the one thing that kind of, gets under my skin the most is, you say you have this going on, but then at the same point you're not willing to take the next step to get that animal protected, which is get the evidence necessary. That's what I'm in this for. And I, if you're getting out there and you've got this clan of Bigfoot, bless you. And I wish you all the best of luck. But I hope that at some point you decide to do something to get this animal protected, because that's why I'm in this. I want to see the animal protected above all else. But I can't do that unless I have something that tells the world that this animal is 100% for certain out there. And that's what I'm in this for.
I understand
maybe you can help.
And that's a noble effort and a noble cause, but I'm not entirely sure that they need our protection.
Well, maybe they don't. But why not, considering other animals out there do have protection by law? Why should this animal not have that sort of protection, especially with man encroaching on the wilderness as much as we are? Wilderness areas are shrinking daily. We need to do something if the animal's still out there, if it hasn't already gone extinct.
Well,
so
I'm just tossing the idea out there. If you want to work with habituators, I would approach them in a non-invasive manner and talk with them, and it may take you talking with them for a month or more.
Mm-hmm. I'm certainly always open. I always have been, and I've never said any differently.
All right. Well, thank you, Smiter. I would have you on, but I've got a bunch of other callers waiting, too, so I need to get to those guys.
Thank you for taking my call, Billy.
Thanks for calling in, Smiter. We've got a caller from the 936 area code. Whoop, wait a minute. I think I just lost a caller from the 936 area code. Just disappeared on me. Okay, DB, did you have any questions from the chat before I go to a quick commercial?
Nope, let it roll.
All right, folks, we're going to give everybody a break, and then we'll come back with some more discussion. So as soon as this break is over, we'll be right back.
Are you tired of the same old boring radio? Looking for something with a bit of an edge? Then sit down, strap in, and hold on tight, for you're about to be taken beyond the edge.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get ready to rumble! It's Down and Dirty Paranormal Talk Radio that takes you beyond the edge. Join us here on Blog Talk Radio Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern for Beyond the Edge Radio, as we interview the everyday investigator to the seasoned researcher. From ghosts and hauntings, demonology, UFO and alien life forms, cryptozoology, psychic phenomenon, and other mysteries and unusual anomalies. Paranormal Talk Radio that goes beyond the edge, and it's right here every Friday night at 9 as we take you from the boring everyday normal into the world of the paranormal. Think you're brave enough? Then lock your doors, open your minds, and join us if you dare. Beyond the Edge Radio, Friday nights 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Blog Talk Radio. Beyond the Edge Radio is an anomalous entertainment production. Check us out at beyondtheedgeradio.com.
Okay, folks, we're back, and I want to thank Eric Altman for that fine job that he does on the commercials that he does. He also done one for us, and Eric, if you're listening, I really appreciate it. You do some good work. I can tell that he's got some talent there, that's for sure, folks. DB, was there any questions?
No, we still haven't gotten any questions. Now, there were some things I wanted to say about habituation before.
Okay.
So if you got like 5, maybe 10 minutes or 15, I don't know how long it'll take.
Well, go ahead. We haven't heard.
It might have to be a 90-minute show. I'm just joking around, but I've been involved peripherally, at least, in 3 different habituation cases, and in none of them. Well, I shouldn't say in none of them. One of them is the infamous Kentucky case where that pancake video comes from. And from that case, there is at least some evidence that's been gathered. I know there are videos that are out there, but I haven't seen them, and from what I've heard, I'm not excited about them. Other people are. But one thing that was gathered at that site was a perfect cast of partial footprint. It was all the toes, and the toes had slid into the mud, and I got down in there and shone a flashlight in it, and I could see that you could actually see the dermals. So I was very excited. And then Stan Courtney cast it, and when he pulled the cast out, the dermals were there. So I thought, man, this is like a slam dunk. We've got some great evidence here. And there were some suspicions that possibly that wasn't a legitimate footprint. We would have been able to find out immediately if the people who were in control of that site had just sent that footprint, that cast, to the proper people. But so far as I know, that's never been done. So that would be one reason why that habituation case didn't produce any evidence. That's at least one piece of evidence that came out of a habituation case. But like I said, I'm not even sure that was a real footprint. Sure would like to know, but we never found out for whatever reason. The other 2 cases, I was involved. I went to the places. There was interesting activity that happened, but there was never enough that you could gather evidence. I mean, and in both those cases, I wasn't there maybe enough to say for sure that you weren't going to get any evidence out of it. In one, I was there quite often. It's one that you know about, Billy, up in Culpeper.
Yes, sir.
We had a lot of really interesting things happen, but we really were never able to gather any evidence that we could feel 100% about. So my own experience with these habituation cases is that they could get you really excited. When people talk together and they say, well, this happened the other night and this happened, and that gets you all pumped up. But so far, I haven't seen any good evidence come out of any of them. Now, there may be some others that other people know about where good evidence has come out, but it hasn't come out to where everybody can see it. So I'm kind of thinking maybe, it's not as good as they let on. So although I like people, looking into these things, I'm really just, why is it that they never turn up any good evidence? I'm kind of, I don't want to say down on them, but I'm, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Well, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. I personally think that over the years, I've become probably more skeptical. Unfortunately, I always doubt things now at this point, whereas before I was a little more accepting of them. But I find myself being a whole lot more skeptical. And we have to be. We have to be, because I think if you get too romantic about it, you'll start overlooking things. And of course, we're not going to find the evidence that we need. And like everyone has said here tonight, evidence is what it's going to take if there's going to be any proof. So now I know a lot of people say, well, why do we need evidence? I've seen it, so I know it exists. Well, that's fine. My hat's off to you. I wish to God that I've seen one really well. But I can't claim that. JC can claim it, but I can't. So.
Yeah, I can't either. I'm really very, very jealous of all these people who go out there and they get to actually see the thing when, I go out there, quite a bit. And, I've heard them behind me, and I turn around and I don't see anything. The guy standing beside me says, oh, it was right there.
Right.
What is this? Why don't I get to see it? But, seeing it that's evidence to the one person.
Right.
And that's the kind of evidence that just gets you faith. It doesn't can't convince somebody. I used to be like you said. I used to really trust witnesses, thinking that witnesses there's nothing in it for them to tell you a story. But I found over the time that some witnesses do have a reason to tell you a story. It may not make any sense to you, but they've got a reason, and they can be really good at it, especially if you're not really on your toes.
Right.
So.
Well,
yeah.
I was just now thinking, who we haven't heard from tonight? Melissa?
Yes.
Put Wayne on the line.
I will certainly do that. He's been looking forward to talking to you, Billy.
Oh,
hold on just a minute.
Hello.
What's going on, Wayne?
Hey, how you doing, Billy? Hi, DV.
I'm doing fine. What do you think about this whole mess?
I think we just need to be in the woods.
There you go.
That's all I want to do.
That pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the only way you're going to get anything is out there in the woods.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't. I wish we could, but I wish we could raise a window and, do some kind of call outside and come on up and say, hey, how you doing? But it doesn't work.
Well, according to some you can, and I think some people seem to have the ability to do that. But as is my luck, like you guys, I haven't seen them either, so that's what we're out to do.
You were just called Wayne Hovey.
Yeah, well, that's not the first time I've heard that. Not the first, and it won't be the last.
So what do you think, Wayne? We've heard from everybody else. What do you see as the direction of this group? Do you pretty much disagree with everyone, or do you have, different ideas as far as a goal?
No, I totally agree with what everybody has said, and, like I just said, I plan on having us out there as often as we possibly can, not just in our area in Ohio, but, down in your neck of the woods and in Pennsylvania and wherever else we can, find a good place to work with. I think that's really the only way that we're going to have a better chance of getting something is boots on the ground, people in the woods.
Yeah.
And working on other techniques that maybe haven't been done yet up to date.
Yeah, I agree. Well, what do you think, DB? DB, you're a member. What do you think?
Well, what do I think? If I was in control, the first thing we would do is have a massive party. Is that joke over? I think I might have used that joke one time too many at least. Well, I'm in agreement that with the idea that you need to get out more often. I mean, in the last year, I haven't been out quite as much as I had been in the previous 3. And, of course, if you're not out there, you're not going to see anything or get any evidence. And you never know when the evidence is going to come. Now, I heard Smiter say something that I thought was, it was an interesting thing to say and probably true in most cases, and that is that you're not going to see them if they don't get used to you. But I don't think you have to go out there and live with them like Diane Fossey to do that. I think that, a lot of people will disagree with this, but I think that their intelligence is much higher than that of an average ape. I think that they've got to have near human intelligence at least, or they couldn't remain hidden like they have. And so I think that over the last 20 or 30 years, they've certainly come to understand what, we're doing in the woods when we go out there. We act different than anybody else. We don't respond to what they do the same way that someone who isn't aware of their existence would respond. So I think that it sometimes happens that researchers are in the right place at the right time, and they will get something. Like I got the what did I call that? The East Ohio chatter, whatever recording. That was just right place at right time, but that was not, we stayed there for 3 months. We knew where to go. We had a target, and one of our members had a good idea. He said, this is the first really warm day of spring, and people actually came out and did some cooking out, and they will have put stuff in the dumpsters. I bet the Sasquatches want to go hit those dumpsters, so I suggest you go check out something by a dumpster. We went there, and bang, that's where we had the recording right away. And we think it's because they wanted to get in that dumpster, and we're very disappointed to see people come set up and look like they were going to stay for a while. So, I don't think you have to go live out there to get evidence. Now, other people might say, the sound evidence isn't really evidence. But, the same thing can happen where you run across the footprint or you get the hair or whatever else you might get. Maybe we'll get lucky and get a nice film of one, but that's never going to happen if we don't actually get out there a little bit. But I don't think we have to get out there and live out there like a Diane Fossey would.
Right. Yes, It's very interesting. I mean, the some of the things that we see in the field and stuff, and I'm gonna be sharing some of that stuff. But to think that there's a creature within 3, 4, 5 miles of a major metropolitan city, I mean, you have to admit, I mean, that just sounds crazy. But are all of these people just crazy? Are they misidentifying something? I mean, what? There's a lot of sightings near major cities. However, you can look at some of these areas and you can see that something could travel. There's wood lines. There's plenty of places where these things can hide, and I'm sure they travel mostly at dark anyway. Why are they coming to these areas? I think they're coming because, hey man, we're all crazy. We throw away all kinds of good food.
Yeah, exactly.
We throw away some great stuff. I know I do.
Sure, that's why I think that over time there's been a sort of symbiotic relationship that's been developed, and I don't think it's everywhere in the United States, but that there are areas where a certain population of them stick around because they know they're going to get food from the people who live there.
Right. Okay, everybody knows who this is. Before I bring him on, I'm going to ask him to please turn his speakers down. That probably gives it away. So we're bringing on Mr. Bill Green. How you doing, Bill?
How you doing, Billy and everybody from the ABS?
Good, Bill.
Bill.
Great to have.
Hey, Bill.
So, what's new with the ABS now, guys? Are you guys going to be, researching any new sightings, footprints, or strange screams, or anything like that?
I think Melissa can answer that.
Just a second.
Hi, Bill.
How you doing, Mel? Is the ABS currently investigating any new sightings or footprints or strange screams or anything like that?
Actually, I can tell you that, yes, we are investigating one report coming out of Kentucky, and I'm getting some help from another researcher down there at this time because at this point we don't have a researcher in Kentucky. But I've spoken with the witness, and we have photographs of the area, and hopefully there'll be something up on the website very soon in reference to this. It was a vocalization, so it should be up on the website before too much longer.
Yeah.
All right.
Is this location near where our friend lives, Mel? Or is it further away?
It's, I believe it's a little further north, but it's not that awful far from where that person is.
Oh, okay. What do you guys got planned for the ABS besides sightings and stuff like that?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first part of your question.
What do you guys got planned for the ABS now besides investigating reports and stuff like that?
Toby, are you still on the line?
Yes, I am.
Why don't you go ahead and answer his question as good as you can?
Okay. Well, one of the things we got coming up right now that we're working on, me, Wayne, Billy, and Sean, we're going to be putting together an expedition for later in April. So we've been working on that and stamping down the details and that's coming along real great. So that's something we're all looking forward to. And
that's
just we're still working out the bugs as far as getting the organizational laws and codes of conduct and things like that all where we want them to be. But we're probably like 95% done with that. So we're ready to move on to the next level here very soon.
Yeah, and I was just asked real quick, Bill, I was just asked the website for the ABS. That would be www.AmericanBigfootSociety.com. That is still correct, right, Sean?
Yeah, that's right. AmericanBigfootSociety.com.
And I guess one other thing that we need to point out is that we are accepting applications for membership. Keep in mind, it's ABS is just starting back out again. We're looking for some fine folks. Obviously, if we can get some folks in different states, that's always important. We've got a few states covered now. We're actually doing pretty good. But, just if you go to AmericanBigfootSociety.com and you look on there, you'll find a membership application. If you want to be a member, fill one of those applications out, and someone will get in touch with you, correct?
Indeed.
Yeah. I do think that it's important to note. I do think it's important to note, though, with that we're not just looking for active field researchers. We're also looking for those who keep track of historical references, people that are good with information. So that is important to our organization just as well as field researchers. So if you're good at finding stuff on the Internet, feel free to sign up to our organization.
I will, as long as it's free, right? It's no money involved and all that other fun stuff.
We do have an associate membership, and I don't know, Son might be able to speak better to that. Do we have anything like I know the TBRC has the Texas Conference Board. Are we going to have anything with that?
We have a generalized, Yahoo group. Everybody can come on and post questions. But as for being an actual member, we have two different tiers of membership. We have the field investigator and the field support. And we also are a dues-paying organization. However, we take that on a individual basis. So that's something you'd want to communicate to us in private. Dues, they're really, I think they're very reasonable for, the benefits you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, they really are.
All right, I'll let you guys go. Great show, Billy, and stuff like that, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And then, of course, we have on the line Mr. Henry May.
Yep. Hello. Just fine. I want to say hello to Melissa and Sean and Toby. You told me I don't know you, but you sound like a potential member, or perhaps a member of the ABS. We'll just say that.
Toby, run, Toby.
Okay.
Well, right now I'm currently on the board of directors, and very
cool.
happy to be here. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've served in different capacities for the ABS in the past. I was kind of one of the co-founders with Sean, and it's a good group, and I'm hoping I've put my application in. I'm hoping to get on there as a member of the ABS. Sean said, "Don't call and inquire." I told him I told him I never do anyway. So, but anyway,
well, I think we have all the members of the board of directors in on this telephone conference. I suppose we could vote on your membership live on the air, Henry. Do you want us to do that?
Sure.
Well, but then we can't say what we really think.
Well,
I've been waiting to see this guy a new ass for years. Where do I start?
Let me ask you that question again, Henry. Do you want us to discuss you live on the air and take a vote now?
Sure, if you want to.
No, we're not going to do that.
Oh, God.
Horrible.
You all are.
Well, anyway, I wanted to call in, and say that the ABS is one of the best groups out there. And I hope that if I am part of it, that that I'll be able to help out. I can't do much in the field. I can do some in the field, but I'm more of a homebody. I do a lot of research on the internet. I find all kinds of stuff on the internet. And if there's if there's anything you guys need as far as a link or a report or whatever, I can help out with that, even if I can't help out in the field. So.
Well, Henry, you did help with that piece that we have on the website with the Bigfoot on film.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're consistently working on. And folks, it's things like that. We want to make the ABS more than just a database. We want to make it a one-stop resource for just more than sighting reports. We want news articles and reference guides and things of that nature that really benefit the community as a whole. It's all about that free share of information, and that's what we're all about, the free share of information to anybody who's willing to work and cooperate with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean, one thing I've always envisioned, and maybe you can draw a picture in your head, but, I'd hope to see someday that the ABS is a hub, and we have spokes going out to organizations across the country. And not because we want to be the center of attention, but because we're willing to devote the time and effort to, share the information around the country. Let's say Texas gets a report from Idaho, and, it does happen all the time. Me being in Wisconsin, I get reports from other states, and it just happens all the time. So, if groups are willing to work with the ABS in that fashion, they can say, hey, we have a report from Idaho. We obviously don't have resources here to handle that. Can you guys farm that out to an appropriate organization or researcher? And, I would love to see that happen because we're going to get people to these areas faster, and time is crucial, I think, in a lot of these instances.
Well, think about how great it would be to go onto a website and type into the search for that website knuckle walking and be able to have every reference in the database for knuckle walking come up.
Absolutely, that would be.
I mean, something as simple as that. Just think about that, and that's a goal, and it's very achievable. It's just going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of talented people to come together and share the information and make it a reality. It's about solving a mystery, not about being, the popular kid in the class. It's about getting the information out there. And I think if everything goes like, as planned, we're going to do it.
Well, we already have, the backing of, Sasquatch Watch of Virginia. Thank you very much, Billy. And there are other groups that are interested. And I think personally that is exciting. I really do. And, just sitting here listening to, the people that are sitting on the board of directors talking, Toby and Wayne and Sean and Billy and DB, it makes me happy because this is why I brought this group of people together. And Henry noted that he didn't even know who Toby was. That's exactly why I brought in Toby. I wanted fresh, new people that were, new to this research, but have great heads on their shoulders, think of new ideas, and help bring some of us that are in a rut out of it. And, people like Toby and Wayne, and Sean, they have wonderful, fresh, new ideas, and that's what we need. We don't need more of the same people who have been involved in this, who everybody knows, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And that's, listening just to the general conversation right now amongst, Toby and Sean, it's exactly why I wanted to form this organization. It's discussion and ideas. And I can't even be happier than I am right now with the fact that I brought out, me and Sean and Billy brought all this together.
Right.
Well,
real quick, let me break in here because we've only got about a minute or so left of the show. We can keep going because it'll archive, but I just wanted to say a couple things real quick while people are still on live. Next week, we're going to have, and he's in the room tonight, we're going to have Mr. Jordan Warner from New York. Jordan produces an internet web show called Cryptid Hunt.
Yep.
So if you guys ever want to check that out, he's got some really good stuff. And Jordan, it'd be great having you on next Monday night. So everybody needs to tune in for that. Jordan Warner of New York, the producer of the web internet show Cryptid Hunt. Okay,
and a little bit of a free plug. HBM's Crypto Corner is returning this Sunday night. It'll be 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, and my guest will be Jordan Warner.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he'll be appearing twice. He'll be appearing on my show and then on your show the following night. So I throw that in. And, of course, my show is going to be bi-weekly, so it'll be every other week. And I'm hoping to get maybe Chester Moore on the 25th of January.
Cool.
So I just thought I'd let y'all know that, and I'm going to take off, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Henry, and thanks for everybody for tuning in. We'll
Later,
see y'all
guys.
next week. Now, we can keep going with the show if y'all would like. We're not streaming now, but we're archiving. And, Melissa, did you finish your thought before I rudely interrupted you?
Hey, before she does, I just,
go ahead.
Melissa deserves all the credit here for grabbing this thing by the tail again and getting her going. So, just want to send a little thank you out there to her, because it's something that a lot of us want to see happen. Whether we're involved with ABS or not, I think it's something that the community needs, and I think more people than not want to share the research and the ideas. And I just hope we can spawn a new direction in that aspect. So just want to say thanks, Mel.
Well, as much as I'd love to take credit for all of this, really, the ABS in its current form would not be anything like it is, without the input from all of us within the board of directors. Sean has great vision. He's a powerhouse of energy, and Billy's like the rock. I think Billy is our center, because everybody knows me. They know I get a little bent, and I get bent pretty quickly. He's our stone. He's our center.
Thanks a lot, Melissa. I know I'm fat, but, you don't have to add that to the weight factor.
She didn't say a big ball of dough. She said a rock. It's not fat, it's muscle.
I'm still giggling about Mel getting bent.
Okay.
And then on top of it,
I don't want to take anything away from anyone else, but and just once I've got introduced to everyone and started looking at what everyone's done and doing, I'm very excited to be working with everyone on the board of directors. So I don't want to give all the credit, but just where it's deserved.
Well, I think that, everybody that's involved so far in the board of directors adds something within themselves, and then carry that through to who we already have in the membership. Each and every person is bringing their own desire to bring this mystery to an end. They're bringing their own desire for that, their desire to be in the field, and their love for information. And that is the most important part in this. I really do believe. Those parts are critical. And regardless of whether you get into the field or you just search the information out on the Internet, you have to have those things in order to bring this mystery to an end. And I really think that this organization is off to a fantastic start just based on the people that have already shown interest. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. Everything is really pulling together. I think this year, 2009, will be a great year for us with our first expedition, which, it's just going to be a good time. It really is. And I think one thing that, and I know Sean's probably heard me say this a million times, if the fun goes away, there's no sense in doing it anymore.
That's right. Yep.
So,
I can't agree more.
Like DB said, without the wild parties, what good is it?
Wild parties.
Every Wednesday night.
By the way, DB, we could always rent a cabin with a big old deck and just have a big old party out there with, have a hot tub.
Yes, because there's nothing Bigfoot likes better than a hot tub.
Oh, and that's how rumors get started, boys.
Gosh.
I do like the idea of researchers staying in one spot for several days and going out and doing things. And, we were talking about doing a cabin here locally at a place where people have been seeing them crossing the street. Well, not really the street, a rural road. And so that's something that the ABS can look into, a weekend or 3 nights. That's what I've been doing in the last 4 years, and I have come up with a few things that, that didn't suck.
You know what, DB, now that you mentioned that, I'll go ahead and give another update everybody can catch on the archive here. We went out to Prince William Forest Park and talked to the park rangers. And it's been who did I lose? I lost somebody. Are you still here, DB?
Well, I'm still here.
Okay. I still see Melissa.
I'm still here.
I still see Toby, and I still see Sean.
It must have been Henry.
I don't know who it was. But anyway, Prince William Forest Park, we talked to the park rangers, and we found out that there are sightings of big hairy giants that date back to the 1800s and back during the time when they had the pyrite mining going on, and also back at the time when the CCC camps were there. So that place has a long history of sightings, according to the park ranger. The park ranger has told us that we can file an application to obtain a research permit to hang up cameras and other electronic equipment. And I just found out, you were just talking about, how we could get the ABS involved. I didn't know this, but they have one camping area over there of cabins that you can actually get for a large group. It'll fit 200 people. And it's one piece of the property over there. It's got a bunch of cabins and this big old lunch hall. And they said that will support 200 people. Can you imagine how much that probably costs to rent?
Well, if they rent it a lot, if they don't rent a lot, maybe it wouldn't cost at all.
Well, the way I look at it is if you get enough people out there, it may end up not being so bad.
Right.
So it would be a good spot, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So what else have we forgotten? Toby, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I'm good right now. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
How about you, Sean? Did you have anything you wanted to add? Actually, you know what? Sean's the one we lost.
Yeah, Sean wrote on the chat that he had to go.
Okay. All right, well, you lose out then, Sean.
We didn't want to hear what you were going to say anyway.
Watch this. I'm going to put somebody on the spot. This is going to be funny. Hold on a minute.
Well, Wayne's on the line.
Is this Jason Willard on the line?
Yes, it's me. I figured that's who you were going to put on.
I figured I'd put Jason on the spot. He's my brother. He's the one that had the sighting over at Prince William Forest Park back, I don't know, when was that?
That was end of October.
End of October. He almost hit the thing doing like 70 miles an hour on a back road that she ain't got no business doing 40 miles an hour on.
He was in a hurry.
I'm always in a hurry.
Yes, he is. So I thought I'd put you on the spot real quick. What else are we forgetting, Melissa? Anything you wanted to add?
Well, Wayne's on the line if you wanted to jump all over him.
All right, let's jump on Wayne. Darn it, Wayne.
Jump on, Jumped on enough.
You don't need us jumping on you, right? You got somebody right there with you.
Yeah, I'm still trying to heal.
Oh, I bet. I bet that was a rough holiday.
Yeah, it was. Just got some together for our next meeting about the expedition.
Yeah, and that's something we'll discuss.
Oh.
We're on an archive, so we don't really want to discuss it.
I know, I wasn't. That's why I just said what I said. So,
right.
But I got some good stuff I think we can throw out there.
All right, good deal.
Matter of fact, from our conversation earlier tonight, Billy, you gave me another idea for something. So.
All right. How about you, DB? You got anything you want to add?
Oh, gee. Now, if you get me started, I could keep this going for another hour. But
I know.
Yeah, I think that we've probably covered everything. Well, we haven't covered everything we could have, but we've done a good show here at this point, so we can let it roll. We're only 10 minutes over at this point.
Yeah. All right. Well, Melissa, Wayne, Sean, who's gone, Toby, I appreciate you guys calling in. I really do. I think it made this show a real success. I think we really brought out the point, that the ABS is a group that people can look to make things happen, and hopefully we'll get some fine folks to join up. And I think we may have accomplished that here tonight. So hope you all agree.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Billy, for letting us use your forum here.
Oh, not a problem. And it's DB's forum too, man. I couldn't do it without DB.
All right, thanks, DB.
All right, well, I thank you folks for coming on the show tonight. DB, thank you for being my co-host again. I don't know how he puts up with me, but he does.
Because he has to, right?
Yeah, because he has to. That's right.
Well, thanks for having us, guys.
Yep, you're welcome. And
Thanks,
again,
guys.
we'll see everyone next week as we bring Jordan Warner from New York with that web show that he does called Cryptid Hunt. I have watched one of the episodes so far, and I have to say he's done a fine job. So we'll have him on next week. And until next Monday, folks, take it easy and be careful out there. We'll see you all later.
A legend silently stalks the forest around the world, leaving giant man-like footprints in its wake. Skeptics scoff, while the true believers search for the answers, and those who have seen it will never forget. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, Blog Talk Radio. Billy Willard and the Blog Squatcher present Sasquatch Watch Radio. Your hosts Billy Willard and Dee Donlin bring you 60 minutes of the latest news and information, newly discovered evidence, and interviews with those searching for the truth and those who have seen it. Do you believe? Want to know the truth? It's out there waiting. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Blog Talk Radio. Sasquatch Watch Radio. Sit down, hold on tight, get ready, because it is about to go down. blogtalkradio.com/Sasquatch Watch Radio.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. Every branch working together. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like Certainty Landmark Pro, right at my fingertips. And now through November, purchase Certainty with Beacon Pro Plus, web or app, and earn up to $750. Beacon, always building.
Most online dating profiles are works of fiction. At It's Just Lunch, we are all about fun, real-life dates set up by real dating experts. Save the fiction for your nightstand and call It's Just Lunch today. Visit itsjustlunchdc.com or call 202-466-6699.